Hello everyone, warm welcome to you. Hello everyone, warm welcome to Super Coaching Regulatory Bodies YouTube channel by Testbook. My name is Madhav. I welcome you all in a very important session, and today we are going to discuss the weekly finance current affairs. You know this very well that finance is going to play a really very important role in your upcoming examination because it is required not only in RBI but in almost all the regulatory bodies exam and even in the bank exams. So to help you guys so that you can prepare really very well and you should be in a position to answer all the questions related to finance, we have started a series which is current affairs series, and this series is live every day Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. where we discuss the weekly current affairs. First on, we'll start with the PIB weekly current affairs, which is covered every Monday at 6 p.m. Then Tuesday we have finance, and on Wednesday we have RBI updates. Moving ahead, if we talk about government schemes, it is covered on Thursday, ESI is covered on Friday, and important reports are covered on Saturday. So this is what is required. This is what I would say we are offering you at 6 p.m. session, and trust me guys, if you are going through with these sessions on regular basis, you will be in a position to answer most of the questions in your upcoming examination related to finance. Is it fine? Shall we begin the discussion? If you all are ready and you want me to start with the discussion, just give me yes sir in the comment section so that we can start the discussion without any further delay. So today we have many important areas which we are going to cover, but before I start, I would quickly share the link of this session with my students. You also do the same guys, copy the link of this session, share it with your friends so that more and more students, they can join us live in this particular session. Let's get started. Let's get started with the first news of the day. The first news is basically related to Asian Development Bank. I don't know whether you have appeared in the examination in the past, but if you haven't appeared in any of the examination in the past, maybe the bank exam or regulatory body exams, then you need to note this point very carefully. If there is any news related to the latest MOU or maybe related to an agreement or any other kind of collaboration which is done with the international organization, especially if I talk about World Bank, IMF, as well as we have ADB and many other development banks like we have BRICS these days and many other. So whenever there is any kind of deal, MOU, agreement or collaboration signed between India and the other international organization, it is something which is really very important and it will be asked in the examination for sure. So I brings to you India and Asian Development Bank has signed $200 million loan for Uttarakhand. So Uttarakhand, we all know that one of the hilly state of the country, and government of India is trying its level best to develop this particular state in order to increase the employment opportunities as well as in order to monetize the scope of tourism in the same. So recently the agreement has been signed between India and Asian Development Bank. Those who don't know, Asian Development Bank is basically an international organization, and this organization possesses its headquarter in Manila, Philippines, and this organization is basically responsible to provide loan as well as financial assistance to the developing countries so that they can develop in the near future. Borrowing is done by the nation, and that too the borrowing is done or I would say the lending is done by these international organizations with the purpose of development at low rate of interest. So this funding is basically to improve the urban services in Uttarakhand. So if someone asks you, recently India and Asian Development Bank has signed an agreement of $200 million for the development of Uttarakhand. What sector or area is going to be targeted? So the target is to improve the urban services in Uttarakhand. This agreement was signed by the key officials from both the organization, and this project is a part of broader urban development agenda in India. So in India, government is already trying to increase or in order to achieve the urban development. So in order to achieve the urban development criteria, these initiatives have been taken, and under this particular initiative, recently the tie-up has been done. The project is named Uttarakhand Livability Improvement Project. Now, this comes the second scope. What kind of question can be asked? So the question could be, recently Asian Development Bank has signed an agreement with India to fund a project in Uttarakhand. So what is the name of the project in Uttarakhand which is supposed to be funded, or the funds are going to be received, or the loan has been borrowed from Asian Development Bank? What will be your answer? So the answer is Uttarakhand Livability Improvement Project, and this project is related to what? So to improve the urban services. It is basically to improve the urban services in the state, that is Uttarakhand. So it includes enhancing the water supply, sanitation, urban mobility, and overall urban services in the state. It focuses on improving the livability and sustainability of cities in Uttarakhand. So it focuses on improving the livability and sustainability of cities in Uttarakhand, and the name of the project is Uttarakhand Livability Improvement. I repeat, Uttarakhand Livability Improvement Project. Next point. So you are saying urban services. In this urban services, what are the key objectives under this particular scheme? So if I talk about the key objectives, the first one is urban infrastructure. Urban infrastructure, the project aims to create infrastructure that can withstand climate and environmental risk. This includes preparing for floods and landslides. So this is very important. The first target is urban infrastructure. But what kind of infrastructure is being targeted? So if you talk about the targeted infrastructure, then the answer would be to create the infrastructure which can easily withstand the climate and environmental risk, especially the target is floods as well as landslides. Second is capacity buildings. It will develop the capabilities of the state agencies. That means training will be done. So training will focus on project management, disaster resilient planning and revenue generation. So पहली बात क्या भैया, पहले तो अपना infrastructure सुधार लो, so that you should be in a state to stand strong against the floods and landslides, और उसके साथ साथ you should increase your capability and capacity to face I would say the natural disaster, which include the disaster resilient planning. It includes the process to increase the revenue generation, as well as training will focus on the management. Training will focus on the management of crisis in the state. Obviously, the natural disaster I'm talking about. Third is gender mainstreaming. The project includes the initiative along with infrastructure development, along with capacity building. There is a target that is empower women, which means if we are developing urban areas, if we are trying to develop or increase the urban services, obviously, if you want to increase the urban services, it will accompany what? So if you want to increase the urban services, if you want to increase the urban services, if you are trying to increase the urban services, undoubtedly, what will happen? So undoubtedly, it will result in what? So undoubtedly, it will result in creation of employment, or employment opportunities will be created. And the moment employment opportunities are created, then the target is to provide these opportunities to the women so that we can achieve the core, I would say, target of women empowerment. So project targets several cities in Uttarakhand, including Haldwani. Then we have Khitcha, Kodwar, Vikasnagar, as well as Champawat. These are the cities which are going to be targeted. So city-wise projects have been introduced. That is not important. I've just given the data to you so that you can read it, but there's no need to remember it. There is no need to memorize the content which have been mentioned on these 3 slides. So just remember the name of the cities. That is more than sufficient. Fine. Now, if I talk about the Women Empowerment Initiative, under the Women Empowerment Initiative, the project aims to support women through first one, livelihood skills training for driving buses, very important. So livelihood skill training will be provided to the women so that they can drive buses. Second is training for bus ticketing, and electric charging station operations. So training for bus ticketing and electric charging station operations. Then we have capacity building. For women in managing water supply and sanitation services. That means capacity building for women in managing water supply as well as sanitation services. And if I talk about along with this, the European Investment Bank is co-financing. Note it down. European Investment Bank is co-financing the project with $191 million. So this financial support will help the project effectively achieve its objectives. So $200 million is coming from ADB and 191 is going to come from the European Investment Bank in order to achieve the target set under Uttarakhand Livelihood Mission. So Uttarakhand Livelihood, or I would say Uttarakhand Livability Improvement Project, is funded by ADB. Along with that, we have European Investment Bank. Got it, guys? Clear? Done? Okay. Now let's move on to the second news of the day. The second news is again very important. The news talks about Gujarat semiconductor policy. So Gujarat semiconductor policy, obviously the news is related to government of Gujarat. So let's talk about this particular news. So Gujarat semiconductor policy is being introduced in order to achieve the economic growth. So what is this whole news is about? So please pay attention. Gujarat government has recently launched Gujarat Semiconductor Policy 2022-27. So Gujarat Semiconductor Policy 2022-27. 2022-27. So that is Gujarat Semiconductor Policy. This initiative aligns with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision for developed India by 2047. So this is aligning Narendra Modi's mission or vision to make India a developed nation by 2047. It aims to enhance semiconductor self-reliance in the state. So it basically enhances the semiconductor self-reliance in the state. Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel, that is the Chief Minister of Gujarat, is going to lead the ambitious policy, and recent milestone include the important investment in the semiconductor project. So what is the area which you need to remember? The policy will focus on attracting the investment in semiconductor manufacturing sector. It offers various incentives to the semiconductor businesses. This include 40% subsidy on capital expenditure. So according to, the question in the examination will be, according to or as per Gujarat government semiconductor policy, what or up to what value of subsidy will be given on capital expenditure? So 40%, up to 40% subsidy will be given on capital expenditure. Companies, they can also benefit from 100%. Companies, they can also benefit from 100% refund on stamp duty and registration fees. So companies, they will enjoy the benefit in terms of stamp duty and registration fees. Additionally, there is a ₹2 per unit subsidy on electricity. So ₹2 per unit subsidy will be given on electricity, 100% refund on stamp duty registration, along with that 40% of subsidy on capital expenditure. Additional water usage is also at subsidized rate, that is ₹12 per cubic meter. ₹12 per cubic meter. So the policy promote land acquisition, subsidies of up to 75% units in Dholera. So I'll discuss what is this Dholera all about. But yes, these are the initiatives which have been taken. So if the question will be framed, it will be in this manner. Out of the given features, which of the following features is included under Gujarat semiconductor policy? So your answer would be subsidy up to 40% on capital expenditure, true. 100% refund on stamp duty, true. ₹2 per unit subsidy on electricity, true. ₹12 per cubic meter water will be provided, that is also true. So this is basically This is basically the benefits which are going to be offered to the semiconductor manufacturing units which are going to be set up in Gujarat. This is not the case that in Gujarat we don't have any ongoing semiconductor projects. Several high profile projects are underway in Gujarat. The first one we have Micron. So Micron is establishing an advanced semiconductor assembly plant in Sananand. This project is valued at over 22,500 crore rupees. In Dhulera, Tata Electronics and Taiwan's Power Chip are setting up India's first AI-enabled semiconductor fabrication facility. So this facility will involve an investment exceeding 91,000 crore rupees. Then we have CG Powers. They are also setting up the investment, or they are also going to set up the project in the same. Then we have Keynes Semicon will also produce around 6 million chips daily by investing 3,300 crore rupees again in Gujarat. Now, the main point from where I would like to mark an important area which can be asked in the examination. So the project is expected to generate thousands of high-skilled jobs. Gujarat anticipates to create 53,000 jobs altogether. The cumulative investment from major companies, the total investment from the major companies is 1.24 lakh crore rupees, and this scheme basically complements India's semiconductor mission. So if someone asks you, India's semiconductor mission was launched in 2021, your answer would be yes. And the current Gujarat semiconductor scheme is in line with the India semiconductor mission. Remember that Dholera, it's being developed as India's first greenfield smart city. It is envisioned as Semicon City, which is a strategic hub for semiconductor investments. Remember this. So Dholera, what is Dholera? This is important. Please remember, Dholera is being developed as India's first greenfield smart city. So if someone asks you, what is Dholera? So Dholera is basically the first greenfield smart city of India, which is going to be developed in Gujarat. And it is envisioned as Semicon City, that is a strategic hub for semiconductor investment. So this region basically aims to encourage industry growth and attract further investment. The initiative in Dholera are crucial for establishing Gujarat as a semiconductor manufacturing leader in the country. Got it, guys? So this is what you need to remember. 2047 is important. Gujarat policy is important. Benefits which Gujarat is going to offer to the industries which are going to set up their semiconductor manufacturing units in Gujarat is important. Then already ongoing projects are important. The names of the companies are important, which include Micron, it includes CG Power, it includes Keynes Semicon, as well as the cumulative value of investment 1.24 lakh crore is important. Government of India's India Semiconductor Mission launch in 2021 is important. Greenfield Smart City, Dholera Semicon City, these terms are really very important, which can be asked in the examination. Now, the next part which is important, sir, if you are talking about the semiconductor market in Gujarat, let's talk about the market in India as well. So let's have some data on the same. India's semiconductor market is growing. Obviously, it's on the growth trajectory. It is valued at $15 billion in 2020, and it is projected to exceed $63 billion by 2026. So India's manufacturing or India's semiconductor market is growing. It is valued at $15 billion in 2020, and it is projected to exceed $63 billion by 2026. So Dholera has been discussed. Then Gujarat semiconductor mission has been discussed. I hope it is clear. Now, if we are talking about semiconductor, we are talking about sustainable development, we are talking about growth. One more thing which is important, that is India's renewable energy growth and investment. So we always talk about that India is doing really very well in terms of growth in the renewable sector. But have you ever given a thought that what is the current status of India in terms of energy, renewable energy growth and investment? I have the entire data. Please pay attention. India's renewable energy sector has rapidly evolved over the past decade. The country recently achieved an important milestone. So what is the milestone achieved? So India has achieved a milestone, that is renewable energy capacity of 200 gigawatts. This includes nearly 90 gigawatts from solar power alone. The government has set up an ambition of reaching 500 megawatts by 2030, and this required approximately 50 gigawatts to be added annually by 2030. तो हम जानते हैं कि 2030 तक इंडिया should achieve the target of 500 gigawatts. Target of 500 gigawatts renewable energy. But the question is 500 gigawatts. But the question over here is, what is the current status? So the current status is 200 gigawatts. The current status is 200 gigawatts. And remember, if you want to achieve the target of 500 gigawatts, you should add on the increase in renewable energy annually by 50 gigawatts. India's renewable energy capacity has grown exponentially. In financial year 2024, India added 18 gigawatts of renewable energy, but the requirement is now 50 gigawatts every year to achieve the target of 500 gigawatts. This year, we are projecting to add 30 to 35, double the previous value, but still we are lacking the mark of 50 gigawatts. India's solar market is relatively small compared to the global leaders. In 2023, China has installed 253 gigawatts of solar capacity alone. समझ रहे हो? In India शोर ज़्यादा है, लेकिन आउटपुट उतनी नहीं है. तो चाइना ने 2023 में 253 gigawatts of solar capacity को install किया है. US added 32 gigawatts during the same period. India accounted for only 3% of the global capacity addition, ranking 5th. So India has been ranked 5th in terms of the addition of solar energy, or addition of, I would say, the solar energy capacity in the world. We are at 5th rank. First one is China, then we have US and the other nations. Despite this, with increased focus, India aims to secure second position after China in terms of growth, not in terms of volume or value, in terms of growth. That next year we will be adding more than 32 gigawatts. That means we are going to add more than 32 gigawatts, that is of US, then we will on the second rank, but the gap is pretty huge between China and the second ranker. The global installed solar power capacity is expected to be 11,000 gigawatts by 2030, out of which India's total, देख रहे हो इंडिया की हालत, India's total capacity, renewable energy capacity, is going to be 500 gigawatts. This represents an investment of approximately $4 to $5 trillion. Recently, investment in solar power has reached $500 billion. Annual investment may approach $1 trillion by 2030. याद रखो कि रिसेंटली हमने देखा था कि जो इन्वेस्टमेंट हुआ एनुअल बेसिस पे, दैट वाज $500 billion, but now it is expected that it will increase to $1 trillion in the near future. So India's annual addition of 50 gigawatts present an important opportunity for global investors. Estimated investment in this sector is around $17 to $18 billion per year. तो अगर वर्ल्ड लेवल पर, ग्लोबल लेवल पर $500 बिलियन का इन्वेस्टमेंट होगा, तो उसमें से लगभग $20 बिलियन के आसपास का जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है, that can be easily done in India in order to achieve the targets of solar energy, as well as to utilize the potential related to the solar power in India. Is it clear, everyone? Is it clear? So I hope these three news till now are clear. One is India Asian Development Bank, second is Gujarat Semiconductor Policy, and third is the current status of India's renewable energy capacity and the targets which India is going to achieve. Last news, SBI unveils Innovation Hub at Singapore FinTech Festival. So what is this news all about? See, I have the entire conclusion of this. So first let's go through with the news and then I'll give you the entire conclusion. So what does it say? It says that SBI in partnership with Epix which is basically a global collaborative platform for financial institutions and fintechs, has launched SBI Innovation Hub. And this SBI Innovation Hub has been launched at Singapore Fintech Festival from 6th to 8th of November 2024. If someone asks you, Fintech Festival was recently launched in which country, then the answer will be Singapore. It was launched in which month? November 2024. What SBI did? So SBI has launched SBI Innovation Hub during this festival. The hub provides a dedicated space for global fintechs as well as startups and innovators to create next generation financial solutions that meet the digital needs of SBI diverse customer base. So in order to meet the needs of the SBI customer base, this innovation hub has been added. Remember that this initiative underlines SBI's commitment to drive financial innovation, accelerate digital transformation, and promote financial inclusion. If I talk about API integration and sandbox access, so participation in SBI Innovation Hub can access and leverage over 250 financial services API within the secured sandbox environment, where you have the reach to understand what has been already developed, what changes can be done in order to develop a product which is as per the current requirement. So if I conclude the entire news, this is what you need to remember, which will be asked in the examination. Why it was in news? So it was in news because SBI has launched SBI Innovation Hub with Apex in Singapore Fintech Festival to accelerate digital transformation and financial innovation partnership. It has collaborated with Apex. What is Apex? It is a global collaborative innovation platform. Location. So location was Singapore Fintech Festival, which is one of the global and largest fintech events. API available of 250 financial services. Purpose of the hub is provide space for fintechs, startups, and innovators to develop next generation financial solutions. Opportunities will include hackathon, structured challenges, partnership opportunities. Lastly, SBI overview. We know that SBI is the largest bank in the country. It offers services in personal, agriculture, rural, NRI, SME, and corporate banking. The leadership involved, Vidya Krishnan, Deputy Managing Director, was involved in this, as well as Umang Mundra. Who is Umang Mundra? So he is the Apex CEO. Umang Mundra highlighted the hub as groundbreaking opportunity for global fintech engagements. So groundbreaking opportunity for global fintech engagement. So these are the takeaways of this particular news. So I hope it's absolutely clear to everyone. So these are the 4 news which are important in this week. Do not forget to use MADHAV code in order to enjoy maximum discount when you enroll in Lakshya batch in order to secure 100% selection in the upcoming RBI Grade B 2025 examination. You can scan the code, join the Telegram channel, and I will be uploading the PDF on the same. Thank you so much, guys. Good luck. God bless you all.